All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. We are going to completely dismantle the popular assumption that owning a casino is a risk-free, foolproof business. I mean, buy the building, hire some dealers, and just sit back and watch the chips roll in, right? It sounds incredibly easy, but the reality of this industry is far more complex, and honestly, way more dangerous for the owners than you might think. On paper, when you buy a building and watch all those chips come in, it really does seem like a guaranteed wealth machine. Some casino owners become absolute billionaires, and some of the most recognizable skylines in the entire world were built on chips, cards, and slot machines. It is quite literally described as the closest thing to a legal money printer that exists in the modern world. And honestly, the numbers absolutely back that up. Las Vegas casinos alone pull in over $60 billion in gaming revenue every single year. Macau, which is just this tiny peninsula, once generated $45 billion in a single year from gambling alone. When we see numbers that massive, we just naturally assume the house always wins and that the whole business model is practically indestructible. But then we have to explain things like the Revel Casino in Atlantic City. This place cost $2.4 billion to build, yet it was sold at auction just 2 years later for $82.4 million. That is literally less than 4 cents on the dollar. The house edge is real, the math is airtight, so how on earth does a $2 billion resort go bankrupt in just 14 months?
Well, understanding this paradox starts with realizing one crucial fact. A casino isn't actually selling a blackjack hand or a spin on a roulette wheel. It is selling the temporary experience of possibility, all to extend the amount of time you spend in the building. Time is the casino's absolute most important raw material. The hotel, the fancy restaurants, the concerts, none of that is just decoration. It's all part of a highly tuned machine designed to keep you inside longer. Because the longer you stay, the more that mathematical house edge goes to work.
Section 1. The price of admission. The barrier to entry here is astronomically high. Just take a look at the sheer scale of capital required here. You simply cannot build a serious casino on the cheap. A basic regional card room is going to run you up to $50 million. A regional integrated resort, that easily pushes $600 million. And a Las Vegas mega resort, you are starting at $1.5 billion minimum. And this culminates in massive global mega resorts like Marina Bay Sands in Singapore, which cost $5.6 billion to open and is actually undergoing an $8 billion expansion right now just to stay competitive. You aren't just building a building, you're building a mini-city that never closes, needing industrial-grade HVAC, thousands of surveillance cameras, and high-end luxury finishes everywhere.
And get this, that doesn't even cover the government's permission slip, because without a license, your billion-dollar building is literally just a very, very expensive parking garage. Simply getting the right to operate in a place like New York means dropping $1 billion before a single foundation is even poured. That's a $500 million licensing fee and another $500 million minimum capital investment, plus years of relentless, continuous regulatory audits digging into your entire financial and personal history.
Section 2. The math and the floor. Let's look at how the house actually makes its money. So looking at this revenue breakdown completely shatters the illusion that casinos are strictly gambling businesses. In a modern integrated resort on the Vegas Strip, gaming now only accounts for about 40 to 45% of total revenue. This reveals them for what they really are, highly vulnerable, full-scale hospitality companies. The rest of their money comes from hotel rooms, food, bars, and entertainment. And what that means is their profitability is dangerously exposed to multiple industries all at once, everything from rising food costs to a dip in convention bookings.
But of the gaming revenue that does exist, slot machines are the quiet powerhouse of the floor. Think about it. A live table game requires a highly trained dealer, a pit boss, and takes up massive floor space just to process maybe 80 hands an hour. Slot machines, on the other hand, replace all that expensive human labor with nonstop mathematical volume. They can process up to 720 spins an hour, they run 24/7 without a break, and they use psychological tricks like flashing lights for what we call losses disguised as wins. This incredible efficiency allows slots to generate up to 80% of an entire jurisdiction's gaming profit.
And remember, the games themselves are purely arithmetic. They're designed so the house always has a silent, expected positive return over a large number of bets. This isn't luck, folks. It is math. If you play European roulette, the expected house edge is 2.7%. American roulette doubles that edge to 5.26% simply by adding a double zero to the wheel. Every single wager you can make is mathematically structured to slowly, steadily bleed money from the player over to the house over time. And operators are constantly looking for new ways to squeeze even more profit from that math. For instance, thousands of casinos have quietly shifted their blackjack payout ratio from the traditional 3-2 down to 6-5. It sounds like a tiny change, right? But that single rule adjustment increases the house edge by a massive 1.4%. When you multiply that tiny shift by hundreds of thousands of hands dealt every single day, it generates tens of millions of dollars in additional annual revenue for the casino, almost completely unnoticed by the average player. So next time you get a quote-unquote free steak dinner or a comped room, just know you weren't actually receiving a gift. The casino is simply using a precise formula called your THEO, your average daily theoretical loss. They calculate your bet size, your time at the table, and the specific house edge of your game to arrive at exactly what they mathematically expect you to lose. In this scenario here, they expect to win $168 from you. Returning 15% of that, say a $25 dinner, triggers a deep psychological desire for reciprocity. It makes you feel valued, it makes you stay longer, and they will happily trade a $25 steak for a $168 expected win any day of the week. Moving on to Section 3, the crushing fixed costs. We're talking about spending millions before dealing a single hand. Consider this reality check. Before a single dollar of revenue is even collected, a major integrated resort in Macau is burning $2.5 million every single day. That is just their baseline operating spend to keep the lights on, keep the staff paid, keep thousands of square feet perfectly climate controlled, and keep the slot machines leased. This massive cash burn happens every single day, completely regardless of economic recessions, slow tourism months, or even global pandemics. The costs are entirely fixed. The revenue absolutely is not. And because a casino handles so much sheer liquidity, a place like the Bellagio keeps around $150 million in physical cash on site, it is intensely vulnerable to external threats. Take a look at the 2023 ransomware attack on MGM Resorts. A simple 10-minute social engineering phone call by a hacker to the IT help desk completely devastated their operations. The slot machines went dark, digital hotel keys just stopped working, and the end result was $145 million in total losses. You can have perfect airtight math on the casino floor, but it won't do a thing to stop a hacker from walking right through your digital network. But honestly, the biggest threat to this business model might just be sovereign taxes. Governments take a massive cut of gross revenue right off the top. And remember, gaming taxes are levied on gross gaming revenue. That means before you pay your staff or service any of your debt. In Nevada, it's a very friendly 6.75%. But over in Macau, the government takes 40 cents of every single gaming dollar. This proves that a simple stroke of a politician's pen can destroy a business model overnight. We literally just saw this when the UK raised its remote gaming duty to 40%, which instantly forced major operators to cut hundreds of jobs. And this brings us right back to the spectacular failure of the Revel Casino we mentioned earlier. They proved that even with perfectly airtight math on the tables, a bad business strategy will absolutely destroy you. Look at these errors. They built a high-end luxury product in a strictly value market. They stubbornly refused to offer a buffet to day trippers. They put the casino floor all the way up on the 3rd level, requiring these long escalator rides. They opened as non-smoking in a smoking-heavy market, and they completely strangled themselves with $1.2 billion in high-interest debt right out of the gate. The math didn't save them from catastrophic strategic misalignment, and it led them straight to bankruptcy in just over a year. Finally, Section 4. The ultimate gamble. Surviving through scale and diversification. So, how do modern megacorporations actually survive this brutal landscape? Well, they rely on immense scale and intense risk management tools, but every single strategy has a terrifying downside. Take VIP high rollers, for example. They are incredibly high margin, but the statistical variance in games like Baccarat means one single player can legally win $30 million in a weekend on a hot streak, which can literally ruin the casino's quarterly earnings. Or look at the asset-light model. Casinos sell off their real estate to investment trusts to unlock massive amounts of cash, but as we see with companies like Caesars, that can suddenly saddle them with a staggering $635 million in fixed, unavoidable annual lease payments. So ultimately, those massive headline revenue numbers we started with, they're kind of a mirage. As you squeeze down from gross revenue, you have to subtract massive direct labor, energy costs, sovereign taxes that can hit 40%, heavy debt interest, and real estate leases. By the time everyone else takes their slice of the pie, a casino generating $3 billion in top-line revenue might only keep $100 million in net profit. And in a bad year, caught by a cyber attack or a macroeconomic shock, that tiny margin evaporates entirely. So as this explainer reveals, The players on the floor are really just gambling against math, and over time, probability always wins. But the owners? The owners are gambling against massive capital markets, sovereign tax authorities, cyber threats, macroeconomic cycles, and their own strategic judgment. When you really pull back the curtain, the biggest gamble inside a casino does not belong to the players at the tables. It actually belongs to the people who built the place, making them the ultimate gamblers in the room.